Hi everybody, it's Meredith. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the fingers frequency. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see that's why it's become known as fingers, because that's an easy way to remember what the frequency is. Now, this is a valid VHF frequency. It is recognized for a particular purpose, which I'll share with you in a minute. But commonly, pilots will use this to just chit-chat air-to-air. Let's say that they're not talking to approach control, they're in uncontrolled airspace, and they just want to chit-chat amongst themselves air-to-air. Sometimes they will use this frequency. Not necessarily approved by the FAA for that purpose, but this is what people do. It has recently come to my attention that some flight schools, not ours, but some other flight schools in our area are making it sort of standard operating procedure to communicate amongst themselves and perhaps with other pilots who also have this practice when they are in the practice area south of Craig Airport doing stalls, steep turns, chandelles, lazy eights, whatever it is that they're doing. They will communicate amongst themselves on this fingers frequency rather than talking to Jacksonville approach. Now, I have had lots of personal meetings with the folks at Jax Approach. I've participated in a lot of flight school safety meetings, and for a lot of reasons, which I'll share with you in just a minute, this is not the best way to communicate your intentions with other pilots. And the main reason is this frequency is not published on the Jacksonville sectional or any other sectional chart that I'm aware of as a way to communicate with other pilots whilst doing said maneuvers. So I want to share with you something from the AIM. This is the Aeronautical Information Manual. If you will follow along, you can turn to section 4-4-15. This is use of visual clearing procedures and scanning techniques. Now, this section has nothing to do with radio communications, but what I want to emphasize here is that if you are doing maneuvers anywhere, okay, I don't care who you're talking to or not talking to, the first thing that you want to do is make sure that you are visually clearing the area to make sure that there's nobody else around. Because, and this is really important to remember, folks, in uncontrolled airspace where no radio communication is required, you cannot assume that there are other people monitoring what you are doing on any frequency. All right, there could be people out there that don't have a radio, are choosing not to use it for whatever reason. So it's super important to always remember that no matter where you're at, in controlled airspace or not, you have to visually scan the area when you're doing anything, including maneuvers. So what this AIM 4-4-15 states is that for training operations, pilots undergoing flight instruction at all levels should be requested to verbalize clearing procedures and instill and sustain the habit of vigilance during maneuvering. So this is clearly a good idea for everybody. Then there's some verbiage in here about specific scanning techniques that you can use. And also in this section, it says best practices to see and avoid. ADS-B-IN is an effective system to help pilots see and avoid other aircraft. And that's something that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes in this video. The AIM continues. If your aircraft is equipped with ADS-B-IN, it is important to understand its features and how to use it properly. Pilots should incorporate the traffic display in their normal scan of traffic to provide awareness of nearby aircraft. And you'll see me using that in practice in my Cub in just a few minutes. Systems that incorporate traffic alerting features can help minimize the pilot's inclination to fixate on the display. And then it says, understand the limitations of ADS-B-IN. In certain airspace, not all aircraft will be equipped with ADS-B out or transponders and will not be visible on your ADS-B-IN display. And you'll hear me reference this in my Cub when I'm out flying in the portion that I've included in the video, which you'll see here in just a few minutes. Not only other aircraft that aren't going to show up on ADS-B, but birds will not show up on ADS-B. Lots of things won't show up on ADS-B. So the point is, we want to use all available resources, all available tools to make sure that we're seeing and avoiding. And I appreciate the fact that these pilots that are using the fingers frequency in an attempt to accomplish that goal, I think that's an admirable attempt, My whole point here, though, is that that's probably not the best way to go about it, and certainly should not be the sole method that you use to see and avoid and attempt to communicate your intentions to other pilots. So let's get into it. Before we go flying, you need to know that 123.45 is not referenced in the FAA chart supplement as a universal all-purpose air-to-air advisory frequency. It is a dedicated frequency used for communication between aircraft that are operating over oceanic areas out of range of VFR ground stations. This description is echoed in Advisory Circular 91-70B and various other FAA and ICAO publications. So why do pilots use fingers over domestic U.S. airspace to discuss their lunch plans or give position reports in the local practice area? Now, in defense of fingers fans, and in typical big government fashion, the FAA doesn't exactly provide much clear guidance on the subject of air-to-air communication, other than the use of a common traffic advisory frequency at a non-towered airport. So I did what many of our students do these days. I Googled it. And after a few searches, I discovered that the official air-to-air frequency isn't fingers, but rather 122.75. If you're a student pilot at Embry-Riddle or one of the other flight schools in the Daytona Beach area, you might find yourself doing maneuvers within the boundaries of Alert Area 293, shown here. This special use airspace is charted with a recommended common traffic advisory frequency of 122.85, which also happens to be the preferred frequency for the large skydive center at nearby DeLand Airport. However, here in the Jacksonville area, we don't have an alert area charted. One could argue that we probably should, but nonetheless we don't. What we do have is Jacksonville Approach, with frequencies that are published on the Jacksonville sectional.
Ground, November 633, Echo Romeo.
So there's about 10 people holding short of...
633 Echo Romeo, correct ground, runway 32 at
There's
Echo,
about 10
taxi
people
Bravo
holding
Charlie.
short of runway 32 right now.
Echo, taxi
Nobody
Bravo
down here at runway 5. It's a light crosswind, which I feel comfortable handling. But they won't allow it, so we're taxiing down to runway... I'm taxiing down to runway 32 to join this conga line. Now, normally I don't fly the Cub on days like this for this reason, because it's just freaking crazy out here. But I'm hoping to show the gaggle of activity in the south practice area, which should maybe give you guys a better idea of what's going on here.
Correct ground, Buggy 316, Sky Harbor. Information Lima, ready to taxi via part of the south.
All right, now there's 4 people.
6 go, correct ground, jet center, taxi via Alpha. Via Bravo Charlie.
Only one other person in the run-up area, so hopefully that won't be too bad.
Taxi via Bravo Charlie, Buggy 316.
Correct tower, middle 892 is 12 miles, or 11 miles south at 2000, requesting touch and go.
There's lots of people out there today, and the whole point of this video is to show how it's much better to monitor Jacksonville Approach to get an idea of what's going on out there, and I'm just going to, I don't know if you can see that in the video, but I'm going to take a screenshot of what it looks like out there right now.
Craig Tower,
right before departure.
Mike, ready for IFR departure, holding.
So I'm going to monitor Jack's approach, but I'm also going to monitor this fingers frequency, 12345, because I want to see if all of these flight school planes out here, from these flight schools that claim that that's the best thing to do is monitor 12345 and talk to each other. I want to hear what they're saying out there. But meanwhile, I'm going to have 124.9 as my primary. All right, so I think everything is good.
Traffic in sight, cleared.
Before takeoff, I'll get my window.
Up jet 834.
I'm going to go line up.
And we'll look for traffic on 3 mile final, 2 Mike Alpha.
2 Mike Alpha and stay at 1,700 for now.
So it is a beehive out there right now.
1,700
for now,
and you'll call my descent to Mike Alpha.
What's local time? 3:23 local time. I've been sitting here about 2 minutes already. Number 3 aligned for the runway. And there's a bunch of people inbound. So let's see what time it is approximately when I get cleared for takeoff. So we've got folks from Embry-Riddle, we've got folks from ATC, and a bunch of other flight schools.
32, clear touch on the go, left turn to the south approved. For track 614, your number 1, runway 32, clear touch me up.
Number 62, clear touch and goes, number 1, clear 614. 814, my Victor, midfield, runway 32, request full stop.
814, my Victor, extend downwind.
Extend downwind, 814, my Victor.
There's 2 on final right now. One guy taking off.
Runway 14, my Victor, start your base turn. Runway 32, your number 3, clear to land.
So there's 2 on final right now, and one other guy just got cleared.
Number 633, Echo Romeo, right close traffic approved for midfield.
Right close traffic approved, we'll report midfield.
Bucket 322, say again.
Bucket 322, can you make the right turn to get to 235?
All right, so now it's been almost 10 minutes, but I think after this King Air,
322, runway 235,
they'll let me go.
proceed on course to the south.
For takeoff runway 23 at Foxtrot, proceed on course to the south. Bucket 322.
Correct Tower Cub 656 Charlie, Charlie, holding short 32 at Echo, ready to go.
656 Charlie, and what direction you going?
Southbound.
656 Charlie, runway 32 at Echo, clear for takeoff, proceed on course to the south.
32 at Echo, cleared for takeoff, 656 Charlie, Charlie.
Idaho 37, left turn on Alpha 5, which will the house is
all right, here we go. Finals clear.
Left turn on Alpha 5 will hold short of Alpha, contact ground, Idaho 37.
Runway's clear. Wind looks like it's straight down the runway still.
The midfield for runway 32 for touch and go.
Number 3 Echo Romeo, you're following traffic on a 3-mile final, report them insight.
Roger that, we'll report when in sight. Number 633 Echo Romeo.
Correct tower, constrict 285 going around.
Here we go.
Roger, right close traffic approved for midfield.
Right close traffic, report midfield, constrict 285.
Correct tower, Crater 614, runway for downwind 32, touch and go.
Track 614, your number 3, runway 32, clear touching us.
Number 2, clear touch and go, runway 32, Crater 614.
Track 614, your number 3.
Number 3, correction, Crater 614.
All right.
Tower Middle 892, request to terminate.
Go to 890, contact that departure. When you're following traffic in the right base, let me know when you see them.
Sending down one, have traffic in sight, constrict 285.
Track 285, your number 4, runway 32, clear land.
Number 4, no, runway 32, clear land, constrict 285.
All right, so as soon as I'm clear of the correct class Delta,
Correct tower, Bucket 311, we are on Charlie.
I'm going to switch over and monitor Jack's approach, but I'm also going to monitor this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frequency. See what's happening. So I won't be going very far. Just a few miles outside the Delta, basically. All right, we're about to exit the Delta airspace. Here's Butler Boulevard. And I see a couple targets ahead of me. One of them is one of the flight schools that claim fingers is a beautiful thing. So I'm going to go ahead and monitor that frequency also. And just monitor Jack's approach also.
At 765, they're turning back towards the northwest. No factor, maintain 4,000.
Maintain 4,000, field at 765.
Track 268, Jack's you up.
Go ahead, crew track 268.
Just to know if you checked in with me or not. I've got climb out instructions for you after the approach at Fernandina. Let me know when you're ready to copy.
Ready to copy, crew track 268.
Track 268, after the approach at Fernandina, fly heading 140, maintain 2,000 and return to this frequency.
140, 2,000, and we'll turn back to you guys for crew track 268.
All right, so the 2 aircraft that I noticed.
So that's 765, traffic 11 o'clock, 4 miles southbound at 3,000 feet indicated, additional traffic 1 o'clock, 5 miles eastbound, 3,000 feet indicated.
Bucky 322 and Bucky 316. Also a bird there.
5 from Wilna, cleared for the straight in RNAV 4 at Fernandina.
For the straight in RNAV 4 and the Fernandina crew track 268.
Now, I haven't heard anybody call on this fingers frequency yet. So let's see what happens here.
KHSA, Bike 216, signaling in high wind Cessna, about 3 southbound valley, 3,000 feet, southbound, steep turn, Gregor.
Dr. There, crew track 500 is at 5,000 feet, about 8 miles to the northwest of St. Augustine, head toward the St. John's River for maneuvers.
All right, so there's some
Regular
people.
traffic, bucket 322, over Blue Lagoon at 3000, doing slow flight.
I'm going to head back over to the east here. See what this guy's doing. So another guy departed Craig southbound.
Regular traffic, contact 336, White Blue Piper Archer, about 12 to the northwest of St. Augustine. We're doing steep spirals, look out below Craig.
Going to be a full stop. Moving next 212, clear direct J-bag.
All right, so there's some Bucky ahead of me and to my left, heading towards St. Augustine.
Rosewood traffic, November 9417 Zulu, 3600 feet. Rosewood traffic, 9417 Zulu, 3600 feet, 9 nautical miles north of Rosewood Western, doing Sandals.
I couldn't understand anything that guy said. All right, so there's a guy behind me, 699 Juliet Sierra. He's 500 feet above me, so he's at 3,000 feet. Going through the, quote, south practice area where I'm hanging out right now. So I'm just going to call up on the fingers frequency and see if this guy answers. I'll keep monitoring Jackson in the background.
Let's go, approach again, please. Phoenix 212, okay? Change to my frequency, 1249.
So I got one guy to the left of me, one guy to the right of me.
Carrier traffic, like 216. Right over the 6, Ted Bundy, 3,000 feet, headed north, southwestbound, 260, steep turn.
The problem with using IFR fixes as reporting points on a CTAF is that the average VFR student pilot will have no idea where you are.
Rosewood traffic, 9417 Zulu, 10 nautical miles north of Brooksville, doing Sandals at 4,500 feet.
So there's a great example of two completely useless calls on fingers. The first guy reported that he was over Bundy, which the average VFR pilot will have no idea what that means, and the second guy, I just couldn't understand anything he was saying.
November 699 Juliet Sierra, you on fingers? All right, so I don't know what kind of airplane that is, but it's over the beach. Let's see, what does 4Flight say? Doing 169 knots. All right. I'm still monitoring Jack's approach here. Not sure what that guy's doing. So there's a guy cruising over the beach.
Staff Secretary, Cruiser 500 at 4,600, 5 miles to the west of Reynolds Airport, and set up for some steep spirals, look out below, South Secretary.
Last call on fingers, what's your position?
5 miles to the west of Reynolds Airport, just west of the St. John's River, getting set up for some maneuvers. It's going to be steep spiraling down.
Okay, so the first time he said Reynolds Air Park. I know where that is, but that's way out of the way of here. So not exactly the practice area. So the problem with this is that there's so much area that frequency can cover. Unless you're really specific like for example, at a CTAP at an airport, right? You're supposed to say the name of the airport as well as your position, because there could be
5 Alpha Delta Jax.
Could be several airports that are sharing the same frequency. All right, so I've got a guy now on my right. I'm going to ask him if he's on fingers. November 3704 Lima, are you on fingers? Okay, that guy didn't answer. Where is he? Head into my right. Oh, he's behind me and to my right. Same altitude. All right, I see him way out there. November 3704 Lima, are you on fingers?
We are.
Okay, just wondering.
Did you need something, or you just our reputation for a dangerous motley group has got you worried?
Nope, I'm just saw you on ADSB. I was wondering if you were monitoring. Are you also on Jack's approach by any chance?
Not presently. We will be shortly. Jack, approach 45 Alpha Delta on your frequency level 5000.
5 Alpha Delta, line and clear, thanks.
Carrier traffic track 336. It's about 11 miles to the southeast of NAS Jax. From me doing ground off with numerous carrier traffic.
All right, so 11 southeast of NAS Jax. All right, now I got somebody onto my right. Bucky, something or other. "200 feet above me out there.
Depart channel 4069, passing 1000 for 3000 around the heading.
On 4069 departure, radar contact. Turn left heading 180, left 180, climb maintain 15,000.
All right, there's a bird.
180, 115,000 with 4069.
Air traffic 216, single 29 wing Cessna, 4 South Palm Valley, 3000, heading 180, slow flight. Carrier.
All right, a couple birds not monitoring fingers. All right, I'm going to drop back down.
Practice area, Jack 500 is 3,200 and descending about 5 miles west of Reynolds Air Park, just west of the St. Johns River.
Mile lateral.
Roger, we'll keep an eye out for him, 45 Alpha Delta.
Traffic November 9417 Zulu, currently 14 knots east from Kilo Bravo Kilo Foxtrot, doing emergency position.
All right, I have no idea what that guy said.
Blue Phoenix 212, descend and maintain 4,000.
All right, here comes another Bucky.
I think 4,000 plus 212.
Departing Craig. So this is Bucky 326. So I'm on fingers and monitoring Jack's approach. So let's see if we hear Bucky 326. Looks like he's a little high and above me, headed toward the beach. I'm at 2,200 feet right now. So he's probably around 3,000. So he's clearly above Craig's Delta at this point. So I haven't heard him come up on the fingers yet, but we shall see. Bucky 326, are you up on fingers? All right, I don't hear him on fingers. I don't hear him on Jack's approach yet, but he's right over there. I see him.
Jack's departure up to 834, 1600, climbing 3000, right turn 090.
Up to 834, depart Trident.
Heading up to 834.
All right, so I see the
Jet
traffic.
834, you're at contact 3 north of the Craig Airport. Climb maintain 15,000. Fly heading 140, clear direct Soggy.
15,000, 140, direct Soggy, up jet 834.
So this guy may
Onboard
still be on Craig
4069,
Tower, which is
contact Jack
there.
Center 126.35.
Right over there.
2635, runway 4069, good day.
Approach, clear track 268, 1,400, climbing 2,000, ending 140.
Clear track 268, departure right in. Say your intentions.
We'd like to request the ILS 32 back in the Craig Airport.
Clear track 268, you're at contact half mile northeast for Indian Airport. Climb maintain 3,000.
Climb maintain 3,000, clear track 268.
This was my flight track that day. I stayed well west of the Craig localizer to runway 32.
Actually, clear track 268, amend altitude, maintain 2,000 for traffic, 1 o'clock, 3 miles north, one indicating 2,600, advise them at sight.
All right, guys. I've had about enough of this.
Clear track 268.
So far, in my opinion, there's not much utility to this fingers frequency out here. I've been monitoring Jack's approach so they can contact me if they see a problem. And I'm more likely to know
Phoenix 212,
that I'm a problem to someone else.
JVAG, cross JVAG at 2,000, clear the ILS straight and runway 32 approach.
And I hear Jack's approach calling me as traffic to someone else, even if they don't know my tail number.
Track 268, 2 to your 3 o'clock, about a mile and a half northbound at 2,500.
Traffic in sight, clear track 268.
Clear track 268, maintain visual with that traffic. At pilot's discretion, climb and maintain 3,000.
Climb maintain 3,000, clear track 268.
That exchange right there was a great example of pilots and ATC working together. For more information, check out this video on my channel.
See, so Jack's approach.
Jack's approach, clear track 500, 3,600, just 8 miles west of Reynolds Park, requesting pick up IFR back in the Craig.
Clear track 500, Jax, do you have an IFR on file?
I do not have an IFR on file, no, I was hoping to pick up one.
Clear track 500, what is your aircraft type?
Cessna 172 Sierra, clear track 500.
Clear track 500, squawk 0543, altimeter is 2988.
0543, clear track 500.
All right, so that other guy, I never heard him on fingers or Jack's approach. He's just blasting south. I don't know what he's doing. Okay. Unless he just ignored me.
Clear track 500, you're at contact 11 miles southwest of JVAC intersection. Altimeter is 2988. Verify your current altitude.
Over here. I'm going to turn around and head back to Craig here in a sec.
Clear track 500, you're clear to Craig Airport. 4,000.
Contact this information in November. Craig Tower, ATC information November, time 1953 Zulu, wind.
Here, traffic Bucky 326 at 1112 south of Craig, outbound on the 180, going to be a 14 DME arc for the localizer, Craig area traffic. 11 arc.
Directional flight, advise you should contact this information in November.
All right, November at Craig. I'm going to head back in just a minute here.
Craig Tower, ATC information November, time 1953 Zulu, wind 320 at 10, weather better than 5,005. Temperature 2.
All right. Craig Tower, Cub 656 Charlie, Charlie. Now 9,000 November, full stop.
Cub 656 Charlie, Charlie, Craig Tower, report 2 mile final 32.
Report a 2 mile final for 32656 Charlie, Charlie. There's another bird that's not talking to anybody. All right, I don't know what BPX212 is. All right.
Tower, Blue Phoenix 212, ILS 432.
Oh, that's Phoenix
Blue
212.
Phoenix 212, Craig Tower, report 2 mile final for runway 32.
Wireless 4, Trad 32, Blue Phoenix 212.
656 Charlie, Charlie, give me a left 360.
Left 360, 656 Charlie, Charlie. because of that guy inbound on the ILS, and I'm slow, so that's okay. Slowing it down in the Cub, not a problem. Kind of fun. But listen, guys, traffic calls on CTAF at an airport, very, very useful, and you want to talk to each other and figure out what's going on. I'm totally on board with that. But when we're maneuvering in a ginormous practice area
Contact deck departure 124.9er.
with a frequency that spans many, 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 many miles, can create confusion and be a lot more work than just looking out the window, using ADS-B as a tool to identify targets and monitoring approach, and just maintaining visual separation from everybody like you would do anyway. All right, this guy's going pretty slow, but I'm going to be able to follow him in just fine.
Tower Blue Phoenix 212, 2 miles final for ILS 32.
Blue Phoenix 212, runway 32, clear to land.
Tower Blue Phoenix 212, clear to land for runway 32.
Foxy Charlie, number 232, clear to land.
Number 2, clear to land 32656, Charlie, Charlie.
Now, for those of you who are thinking that contacting ATC for VFR services during the government shutdown is imposing extra workload on the controllers during a time when they're already stressed out, my answer to that is you are actually doing them a favor by contacting them and letting them know that you're there, or at a minimum, monitoring the frequency instead of fingers so that ATC has some way to get in touch with you if you're in someone else's way. When I posed this question to our local pilots group on Facebook, as you can imagine, I got a lot of haters. But one of my really good friends who flies for a regional airline summed it up perfectly. Here was his response. So look, let's leave the finger counting back in math class where it belongs. As professional pilots, let's all do each other a favor and monitor or contact air traffic control for advisories.